Hello everyone, it is Friday, March 12th. The time right now is 5:06 p.m. and the temperature is 4 degrees Celsius. I'm here along the shoreline of Lake Ontario. And this is Budapest Park. And just off to the west there is the Sunnyside Beach. And the plan for this one is to head on over to the Roncesvalles Pedestrian Bridge, and I'll cross the Gardiner Expressway and the rail tracks and head on over to the Parkdale neighborhood. I thought it would be neat to start down here at the lake. I had originally planned to start at Jameson and King and walk up to Queen and then head west over to the bridge and then down to the lake. And then I would have walked over to the Dowling Pedestrian Bridge. But with such clear skies and the sun directly off to the west, that would have made for some challenging recording conditions if I were to walk directly into the sun. So I thought I would improvise, as I often do, and come down here to start. And there is a Freedom for Hungary memorial. And I saw an interesting plaque just up ahead here. It is quite windy today, so this will be a good test of the microphone. And this is where Marilyn Bell became the first person to swim across Lake Ontario. So this area used to be home to the Sunnyside Amusement Park, and that existed from 1922 to 1955. But that was closed down and demolished to make way for the Gardiner Expressway, which is the large east to west highway you see just to the north of here. There's a look at the pedestrian bridge I'll be crossing. And one of the rides at the amusement park was an old carousel that went on to have a second life at Disneyland. And I think it's still operating today after being refurbished a few times. The park also featured a roller coaster, and in addition to a number of other rides, there was also a stadium that featured women's softball. And I think this mural, or artwork, however you want to say it, went onto this bridge in 2017. And this building right here is the Palais Royal. This is a dance and event hall. It opened in 1922 as a canoe building factory. And it later became a dance hall and was featured as a nightclub when the amusement park was operating. And back in 1999, the Canadian band Sloan played 4 shows here in 4 nights, and they released a live music album called 4 Nights at the Palais Royal. I was at one of those shows as it was on my birthday. There's a look at the Boulevard Club, just off to the east. And that's a large private membership athletics club. I think membership's around $20,000 a year per person. All right, let's head on up the bridge here. And hopefully once I get away from the lake, it'll be a lot less windy. There's a look to the west on the Martin Goodman Multi-Purpose Recreational Trail. And you can see the CN Tower off in the distance to the east there. Here's another ramp that leads up to the bridge. So the neighborhood of Roncesvalles is just to the north of here, as is Parkdale. So I think I'll head east along the Queen Street part of Parkdale, and maybe I'll head down Jameson Avenue once I get there. I gotta grip my camera extra tight on this wind. There's a look to the east along the Gardner Expressway, and that's the highway which led to the demise of the Sunnyside Amusement Park. And a look to the west. And there's the towers at the Humber Bay Shores Park. A few days ago I did a live stream that started way over at the Queensway and Royal York Road. And I walked down to Humber Bay Shores, and then I walked all the way over here and up this bridge. And I continued on north up to Dundas West Station. There's a look along the rail tracks. And I always thought these ads were pretty neat when I was a kid. Whenever I was in the car, in the back seat, driving into downtown, I always got a kick out of seeing if there are any changes to these. I think they've been there since 1987 or so, but of course they do change from time to time. They're rather unique. And there's another look at the Boulevard Club. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that we're going to catch a train going by. I was kind of hoping we'd see one. All right, so I kind of hope the wind dies down. And this here is the Queensway, although it ends at this intersection and becomes Queen Street West. And this part here becomes King Street West. And I just posted a bike ride today that went along King Street. And this is the Beatty Boulevard Parquet. And on that side of the intersection is Roncesvalles Avenue, and that'll take you up through the neighborhood of Ronci. And every time I come this way, I'm always on the north side of Queens, so maybe I'll just stick to the south side here. So this is Parkdale. And part of Parkdale has also been dubbed Little Tibet. And I'll be walking by Parkdale Collegiate, which is a school that has a fairly significant Tibetan population, or at least those of Tibetan descent. There's a new cannabis shop moving in. And I think I'm always on that side of the street to the north, as it's seemingly more interesting than this side. This neighborhood does remind me a bit of the east side of downtown. It started to show hints of gentrifying in recent years. It didn't always have the best reputation, but I've never found it to be that bad. I did a walk through here, I think in the fall, where I talked a fair bit about the history and the makeup of this neighborhood. And I've been meaning to come back and do a night walk. And Parkdale will run to the east here over to Dufferin Street, and that's where the West Queen West neighborhood begins. There's a Tibetan beauty salon. There's also a lot of Tibetan momo and other Tibetan themed establishments. Gus Tacos coming soon. So even though the city has started to reopen, it's still pretty dead here. There's no indoor or outdoor dining allowed, although that might be set to change pretty soon. As yesterday, the mayor of Toronto went on record as saying he was hoping that the city moves into the red zone as soon as possible. And that would allow for dining. It would also allow for salons to open. Here's the rather well-known Glory Hole Donuts. I think there's a Craig's Cookies around here too. I'm going to take a brief look at some of the houses on this street here. This is Beatty Avenue. So running parallel to Queen, just to the south of here is King Street. Some rather neat and large old homes here. I think the population of Parkdale is somewhere around 40,000 people. And there is Dave's Hot Chicken. I walked by here, I want to say about 3 weeks ago at night, and there was a very long lineup. And they're opening a new location up in the Yonge and Davisville area near where I live. Maggie Chew's Noodle Bar. It's always nice to see a neighborhood that's not peppered with corporate chain stores. There's the Tibet Kitchen across the street. And here is Dowling Avenue. So if you were to go south down Dowling, past King Street, it'll take you to another pedestrian bridge and past some more nice old homes. And that'll take you over to the lake. My favorite restaurant in this area is Loga's Corner. And if I pass by it, I'll be sure to point it out, although I'm thinking I'll turn right down Jameson. There's another Tibetan restaurant right next to the Himalayan Kitchen. There's Parkdale Substation, and that dates back to 1927. And there is the Momo Cafe. Momo is kind of like Chinese dumplings or Korean mandu. And if you're wondering why I chose not to stick with my original plan, this is what walking to the west would have looked like. Right into that sun. So here's Jameson coming up. And they are running buses along King and Queen. There's some work being done at the water mains just to the west of here, and I think they're doing some track work as well. Okay, let's take a little detour down Jameson. There's some mid and high-rise apartment buildings here. And there is the Parkdale Collegiate Institute. And that opened in this location way back in 1889. I think it was around 40% of the population is of Tibetan descent. There's a sign there, no COVID evictions. I guess that puts landlords and tenants in a difficult spot. Just gonna cross over, get a closer look at the school. And I don't think a lot of these apartment buildings have the best reputation in terms of their management. Rent today. Studio 1 and 2 bedrooms at minto.com. I bet this house here has a story to tell. Looks like at some point they decided to clear out all the homes on this street and build all these apartments. That one was a survivor. All right, someone's boots. And I think you can continue south on Jameson over the Gardner Expressway down towards the lake. And just to the left of there would be the exhibition place grounds. There's a little convenience store in this building, or as they would call it in New York City, a bodega. And this is King Street. There's a Dollarama There's not nearly as much going on along this part of King Street West as Queen Street, so maybe I'll pick one of these streets and I'll head back up to Queen, and then I'll walk over to around Queen and Dufferin, and I'll call this one a walk. Here's a neat perspective. You can see some of the financial district towers and the CN Tower. I think this is the street that'll take me up past Loga's Corner. I might be wrong on that. There's the Holy Family Catholic School. Some of these homes have to be really old. And it's 4 degrees, but it's supposed to drop down to around 0 or -1 later tonight. This after having it as warm as 17 yesterday. There's also a community center over there and a whole lot of basketball rims that don't have any mesh hanging from them. And here's the other side of Parkdale Collegiate. And this should be Loga's Corner. I've been there a number of times. It's got kind of a homey feel to it. If you eat in, not that you can do that now, but it's a bit like sitting in someone's living room. Loga's Corner Tibetan Cafe. And I would imagine, given their proximity to these schools and the fact that it's pretty affordable, they would do pretty well around lunchtime. Oh, hello. You caught me. All right, have a good one. Can't seem to film anywhere these days without someone calling my name. So it's back to Queen Street West. And perhaps I'll be jumping on one of those buses as I make my way back home after this. Or it's probably quicker to take a bus north up Dufferin to Dufferin Station and then the subway over to Bloor-Young. I think this is an artist space on the right. Serves as a gallery and art studios.
Oh, shit.
I think she was referring to the wind with that comment there. And here is the Parkdale Village Library branch. Welcome, the library is open today. But I don't know if you can browse the library. Nope, you can just put things on hold. And I think that'll change in a couple of weeks, or a little over a week now. If we do get the good news that we can move into what the province calls the red zone. And I think I spy some Al Runt artwork up there on Brock Avenue. And there's Duggan's Brewery. There's certainly a lot of vacant storefronts here in Parkdale, and I think that's where the old Cadillac Lounge used to be. There was kind of a half cut out Cadillac on their signage. Oh, and there's Goo Izakaya. I wonder if that's a new location or if they relocated, but I've heard a lot of good things about that place. And speaking of good places, just up here on the right is the Rhino. It'd be nice to see people out on this patio soon. This is a staple of the Parkdale bar scene. We've got a pretty large indoor space as well. the Parkdale drink. That bus was completely empty. That one's rather full. That one will be going as far as church. All right, and this is pretty much the eastern boundary of Parkdale coming up here at Dufferin Street. You could go south here and that'll take you into the exhibition as well. And before that, you'll be passing through Liberty Village, or at least on the east side. And I've seen this sign for Matt's Burger Lab. I've been rather tempted to have it. I just don't feel like standing outside and consuming it that way. Oh, that would have been a nice bus to catch. We'll be heading up to Dufferin Station, which is just to the north of here. There's the look up Dufferin Street. And just off to the west here is where the West Queen West neighborhood begins. And you'll find the Gladstone Hotel right there at the corner of Gladstone and Queen, and that's recently come under new management. It'll be interesting to see if they completely gut it and redo all the rooms, which were individually decorated and themed. And now this walking video turns into a bit more of a vlog as I pull out my Rocketman app here. I'm going to see when the next bus is coming. Northbound. 6 minutes. Might be better off on one of the many Queen Street buses that is roaring by. Or not. I think what I'll do is I will end this video here and I'll record a video for my other channel, that's Johnny Stumbles, of me taking the bus from here up to Dufferin Station, and then I'll transfer onto the subway. I haven't made a video for that channel in a while, so I think that's what I will do. And I probably have time to walk south to the next stop. But I will end this recording and figure that out from here. All right, I hope you enjoyed this walk up and along the Roncesvalles Pedestrian Bridge and through the Parkdale neighborhood, mostly along Queen Street West. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you wish to support the channel, there are links to my Patreon in the description. I also have an Instagram account, and you can check out channel memberships on the main page. All right, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.